I came out as we started a little late tonight, and I made mention that it's jumping around and being in three places at once this last several months, and take it easy on me and give me a break, and then I thought to myself, how much longer am I going to be able to milk the excuse of I am the only rabbi here since June, and I want you to know I am very aware that I am going to milk it every last second until July 1st when the crisis intervention team arrives of rabbis in Cantor. And I also decided tonight, as I was in silent prayer, and Steve Bressler was trying to talk to me during my silent prayers, that he's a great attorney. He edited the entire announcement sheet. It's all new and improved. Which was poorly written, of course, because I am the only clergy person, and I'm, in addition to everything else, responsible for the announcements, too. Silent violins. I want to hear them, little violins. And I was thinking to myself, I want a farewell service, a Lehitra Ot Shabbat service, a special one for our cantorial soloist of this last 3 years, me. It'll be the greatest day of celebration that this congregation has experienced in its 100-year service, that I will no longer be leading the music. Don't applaud. I know what you're thinking. But I want a farewell service in June. All right? For me. I want someone to say, we want to thank our cantorial soloist for these last 3 years. How much does stress impact us? We use the excuse of stress due to things that other people need us to do constantly. I am making sort of a joke, but I'm very serious too, that stress can make us say crazy things and do crazy things and feel crazy things that feel stressful. But stress is typically the pulling and the tugging of needing to be somewhere for someone to do something for them. Stress is not, I have to get to a yoga class. That's not stress. I have to go to my doctor's appointment. That's not stress. Doing things for yourself is not stress. That is just schedule and life. I tell rabbinic students who are graduating rabbi school, I am old enough to say the line, I tell rabbinic students who are graduating rabbinic school, because I was ordained in 95 and I've earned my wings, that there's no such thing as balance. Stop saying I'm trying to seek balance in my life, because there is no balance. And once you embrace the fact that there is no balance, you'll feel a lot more balance. But stress is a constant. In this week's Parsha, in Kehilah, the people get so stressed, our ancestors get so stressed out by Moses' absence. They need their leader, their rabbi, their teacher, so much so that they throw up their arms, run to Aaron, and dump that stress onto Aaron. And Aaron's all by himself. Aaron's there, Miriam's there, and 602,000 Jewish people. Stressed out that Moses hasn't come down from Mount Sinai yet. He said, I'm going up for 40 days, and day 40 arrives. By the way, he meant 40 days, meaning 41. On day 41, I'm coming down. And they flip out with stress because they need him. So much so that God says, you better get thine tuchus down there, because your people are a hot mess. They've gone and I'm paraphrasing. They have gone and built themselves a golden calf, a molten calf made of gold. They are worshiping it and dancing around it. And not only that, your brother Aaron was the ringleader. He was the one who told them, the men, go get the gold from your jewelry from your wives, and we'll melt it down and make it. Aaron's stress manifests itself in, I can't take care of these people. I'm going to be the priest. I have this one-on-one with God. Aaron never is responsible for the people, especially in this week's Parsha. So he does what any non-leader would do and says, do whatever you want. Anarchy and controlled chaos, fine. And off they go. Moses comes down, God's advice, get thine tallest down there, and, oh my God, he has a total meltdown. His stress is manifest in the idea that he can't understand or accept or learn from what this is. It's the first time that he realizes how desperately they need him to be their leader. They need him so badly to be their leader, their rabbi, their teacher, that they melt down, build the golden calf, and worship it. And Moses throws the tablets into the fire in a fit of anger because he doesn't realize until that second, I would argue, how desperately they needed him. It's like the first time your baby child screams in that high-pitched sound. Could be when you're changing their diaper for the first time. It could be when you're holding them for the first time. It could be for a mom when she's nursing him or her for the first time. When they make that crying sound and you realize this thing is going to need me in the most profound ways that I had never, ever, ever considered. And for men who don't have the experience of a baby growing inside of them, it's even more exacerbated because it's really the first time we've had physical contact. And we realize, I remember when Ethan and I were introduced by the nurse the first time, thinking that combination of miraculous happiness and unbridled joy and, oh my God, what have I done? Fear and anger, stress. This boy is going to need me. And that's scary. So Moses looks at these people and figures, oh, they needed me a lot more than I thought. Maybe I could have communicated better with them. Maybe I should have told them it was day 41 and not day 40. Or maybe he just freaks out himself and says, I can't do this anymore. Well, that part's not a maybe. He does that. He goes to God, and I'm going to leave this part off here because Maddie's going to talk about this in her Devar Torah tomorrow morning. He sees the people, it says in this week's Parsha, out of control. Again, remember that baby needing you for the first time and what that felt like. And for those of you who haven't had kids yet, it's a very scary and profound feeling. It's joyful also, but it's scary and profound the first time you realize that another human being needs you that badly. And he says, whoever has gold, take it off. And they gave it to him. And he saw that they were out of control, the Torah says. So he says, get that gold off. Get rid of that. Throws the tablets at the golden calf, and sees that they're out of control, and then goes back up to God and basically says, I can't do this. That moment when I held Ethan for the first time, and I did have a split second that, as he got older, got longer and longer of, I can't do this. Right? He's driving me crazy. I can't do this. He's a good boy. Moses says, I can't do this. And goes to God and says, I can't have people who need me alone, that badly. I can't be the leader of people who totally and completely are, in a modern terminology, using modern terminology, are codependent. You're going to need to step up, God. And he asked God to do two things. Number one, show yourself to me. If we're going to have an intimate relationship, I need to see you. That will soothe my stress. And number two, I need you to lead. I need you to be more present. So God does that, puts Moses into the cleft of a rock, and it says in the Torah, it doesn't show God's face, but God's back passes before Moses. He's relieved. Then God says, and I will be with you for the next 39 plus years as you lead the people from here, Mount Sinai, to the promised land, to the land of Israel. I'll be right there with you. I want us to think about stress differently on this Shabbat. Number one, I want us to think about stress in terms of, if we feel stressed out, it's typically because someone else needs us. Someone else needs our leadership. Someone else needs our compassion. Someone else needs our love. And that is stressful, being needed. And number two, no one wants to feel alone. It's lonely at the top for Moses. It's lonely at the top. He doesn't have any partners. His partner, Aaron, his brother, is building a golden calf. He's all alone. So think about stress in those terms this Shabbat. The people who need you, the people who rely on you, the people you take care of. Stress is actually a good thing in that regard. And you don't have to do it alone. You're not the only one going through it. There are others who feel the weight, the loneliness of leadership. And leadership is tough. But there are people in our community who can help so that you don't have to feel alone. So think about stress in a good way as the result of people needing your love and leadership. And, like Moses, know that you're not alone. You can get a lot of relief in that, knowing that you're not alone. And knowing that there are others who are going through the same experiences as you. And then, like Moses, by the end of the story, hopefully you'll be able to say, I got this. I can keep going. And I will accept and embrace the stress as part of what it means to be a leader, as part of what it means to be needed, and as ultimately part of what it means to serve God. Shabbat Shalom.